I drove out the gate thinking this is very peculiar, thinking what have I done? Have I done the right thing? And I was travelling along the roads, coming over Woodhead, and road I knew very well, and this Transit Luton, fully loaded, was going slower and slower and slower. And as I was going up that hill, I was beginning to think, what have I done? And by the top, I was probably doing about 22 miles an hour. I think at that point I had a fairly big reality check. Hello, I'm Gareth Dunbar. I started Officeinsight in 2002.
Why did you choose to create Officeinsight?
I was working for a company in Sheffield, and I had what was a small family then with two small boys, and I was doing a lot of travelling, and it had always been my lifelong ambition to start something of my own for my family, to care for them.
How did you come up with the name?
Yeah, coming up with a name for a business is either very easy or very difficult. For me, I found it very difficult. There was all the good names and all the obvious names were already taken, and I wanted something with the word office in it. A friend of mine came up with the name of Office Head, which said quickly, Office Head was quite humorous, but I didn't think it was quite conveying the vision and what I wanted from the business. So I didn't go for that one. I went for Officeinsight.
What was it like in the early days?
Well, in the very early days, the first day, let's go back to the first day, I drove over to Sheffield in my very nice company car and left it there, and I bought an old Transit Luton from the company I was working for, and I bought quite a lot of furniture and kit and equipment I needed for the business from that company. That was loaded into the Transit Luton, and I drove out the gate thinking this is very peculiar, thinking what have I done? Have I done the right thing? And I was travelling along the roads, coming over Woodhead, and road I knew very well, and this Transit Luton, fully loaded, was going slower and slower and slower. And as I was going up that hill, I was beginning to think, what have I done? And by the top, I was probably doing about 22 miles an hour. I think at that point I had a fairly big reality check. I was moving away from regular good salary, and didn't actually know where my next wage check was going to come from. So there was some stressful moments, but there was also some really enlightening, really enthusing moments when what you planned came to fruition. Designing a brochure and getting it out in the post to people as it was then, and the clients, new clients, never heard of us, new company, ringing up at that point and saying, yeah, can you come and see us, we've got your brochure. That was so enthusing and so rewarding.
You brought the business through a recession. What was that like?
Yeah, the recession of 2008 and 2009 for us was very challenging. We'd just purchased new premises at the end of 2008 and moved into them right at the end of the year. And at the beginning of 2009, for us everything stopped. It was like we hadn't paid the phone bill, and literally nobody wanted office furniture, which was what we were doing mostly at that point. When the phone did ring, it was people asking us, do we buy second-hand office furniture? We've got a floor or two to clear out. So it was very challenging. I think in 2 months, January and February, from recollection, I think we sold between 4 and 6 desks. So it was very challenging, and it forced us to look in other directions and focus more on refurbishment and small refurbishment projects, which was what we did and how we survived.
What's the most exciting part of working within the Officeinsight team?
For me, I think as we build the team, the realisation that other people within the team have got skills that surpass my own and can do things that I can't do, I find that really enthusing, and it helps you drive forward and keep going for growth when that you can recruit talented people and skilled people that can embrace things like technology and take the business forward for me. I find that very rewarding.
And lastly, what is next for Office Insight?
So I guess the vision forwards will be, I guess, largely around helping businesses arrange their workplaces as we come out of this pandemic. I think ultimately offices will be different, but there will still be a need for a workplace. So I think the purpose of the workplace is in a lot of people's minds at the moment. What do we need to do to create the right spaces for our people to work effectively, efficiently and safely? And I think that's really exciting in terms of it's really looking at what we've known for decades as the office. What's it going to look like in the future? I think there's still a need. I think it'll look differently. And I find that very, very exciting, really, that something that we've known for years is going to be enhanced and changed and made to suit the today's and tomorrow's needs for the workplace.